So in this process, now you've been working with different startups, you figuring out which ones that you like, what things you like about them. You've got this excitement behind you of why you like investing. Is there a certain criteria that you go through in your due diligence that you have that you want to make sure that before you make a commitment, you have these X criteria met?
Yeah, so I guess things that I look for before committing, in no particular order. So some of the things that I feel are important are traction in the market, and this could mean a few things based on different industries. So essentially, this could mean that you already have revenues or that you have a clear and proven MVP. In the case of life science opportunities and sometimes with medical devices as well, we run into different challenges in terms of revenue. So having solid scientific data around that, having animal data in the case of drug discovery, for example, or solid clinical trial data, like all these things are important to demonstrate traction. Another thing I think that's really important to think about is scalability of an opportunity. So one of the things that is exciting to me and that gauges that is when you hear a pitch and my mind starts racing. So you start to think of additional applications of the technology, for example, or other markets. And to me, that's exciting. So when my mind's racing, listening to a pitch, I think that's what really draws me more to the idea. The concept of understanding the competitive landscape, I think, you can't dismiss that. You need to recognize that. You need to know what you're up against, how you really build a moat around what you're doing, what you do that's different. So acknowledging that is really important. So taking the time to understand that landscape. The use of funds, I think, is imperative. So if you're going to be raising a certain figure, it's important that what you're going to use those funds for is logical, that gives you enough runway for the right purposes, etc. Having some sort of sense of the founders having skin in the game, I think, is really important, that they've gone through sort of the natural cycle with fundraising through family and friends, that they've personally given time and financial resources to the business as well. And if they have current investors readily available to them for help, are they value add investors, and sort of how have they built that cap table, essentially. And I think in terms of delivering these messages and being readily available and accessible is important, but also having this information really handy. So if you have pitch decks for different audiences, sometimes it makes more sense to do that in life sciences because your audience tend to be different, whether you're at a scientific conference or pitching at a more tech-related conference, etc., or having a teaser sheet. Really know your audience and when you're delivering these messages, and have them readily available to make the process as refined and efficient as possible.